it is important to recognize the role of South Carolina and the entire South now in this global economy. Because as you hear these announcements about corporations locating in our area, they're locating in our area for a number of reasons. And I think some of them were mentioned because of the low unionization, the availability of cheap labor, the fact that our Department of Commerce, they are actually marketing the people in South Carolina as third world, earning 26% less than the national average while being some of the most productive workers in the world. All those are magnets for these corporations to come to our area. But also because we have a great port system. And that is that port system that connects South Carolina to the global economy. And so you will also find that one of the primary reasons for them locating here is because of that port system. Now, when we were engaged in the Charleston fire struggle, and we actually got sued by that Danish shipping company, and we had the opportunity to go and take depositions of the ship owners over in Copenhagen, Denmark. And you know, in depositions, you can ask a lot of things, and they're going to answer those questions, whether they like it or not. And we found that the Danish people, those in Scandinavia and most of Europe, who are making those investments down here in the Southeast, are doing it primarily because they understand some of the history that Kerry was talking about, how suppressed we are, how divided we are sometimes along racial lines, and this may be the best fertile ground for growing their business in the American South. And whether you know it or not, that we have the fastest growing region in the entire country, population-wise and business-wise. I have a few statistics that you may or may not be aware of that I'd like to even share with you. And as you know, the U.S. is still the largest economy in the world. The U.S. was about $16.2 trillion, followed by China with about $9 trillion. Much of the trade in the U.S., between the U.S. and China, is fueled by the activities here in the Southeast. The $5.2 billion expansion of the Panama Canal that we all hear so much about, these ships coming directly from Asia to this market on the Southeast coast, these 26 southern states, that $5.2 billion expansion is being fueled by and facilitated by the trade between China and the southern eastern United States. 18 southeastern ports already have international agreements with the Panama Canal Authority to facilitate this trade. The population in the southeast right now in just 12 states are over 78.3 million people. Growth in the private sector, employment have grown by 37% in the southern right-to-work states versus only 17% in the United States. When you talk about manufacturing and the capital that's being invested in our region, you're talking about Mercedes-Benz, you're talking about Boeing, Hyundai, Airbus, Toyota, ThyssenKrupp, Kia, Nucor, BMW, Michelin, Volkswagen, Tide England, GM, Amazon, Nissan, Google, Georgia Pacific, International Paper, Fortune 500 companies, 65 companies in 4 southern states, 65 Fortune 500 companies. Banking headquarters, the Bank of America, Regions, AmSouth Bancorp, SunTrust, and the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, BB&T. As far as mineral and mining, we have coal mining, phosphate mining, natural gas in West Virginia, Kentucky, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Louisiana. And when you talk about tourism and hospitality, you know where all the spots are. So you see we have a very vibrant and fast-growing region. So there's no wonder why we are being targeted for investment, but also being targeted because of low wage rates, low unionization, and so forth. So these are some of the main reasons why we should be focusing on organizing the South. We have small federations of labor throughout the South. The AFL-CIO, South Carolina, does a fantastic job with the resources they have available to them, but it's not nearly enough to combat the forces with which we find ourselves confronted with. So we are saying to the international unions that if you are going to exist, if you're going to help preserve the middle class and to grow the labor movement, the battleground is in the South. For all the reasons we've already outlined. This is the battleground. We're going to save the middle class in this country. That battleground is going to be in America South, these 26 southeastern states. So I want to share those statistics with you because I do believe, and I've said it before, that if we're going to change this climate, if there is a climate change taking place in South Carolina and throughout the South, it has nothing to do with the weather. It has to do with the anti-union forces, the anti-workers, and the pro-business climate that is being established in the South. And you know what? We are already late. We are already late, so already we have an uphill battle. Some of the people in this very same room worked very hard on a resolution that was presented to the National AFL-CIO last year, where finally, the labor movement has agreed to now begin to focus and to encourage all the international unions to invest in the South, invest in the people. Politics have its place, but you know, we got to put the money back on the ground, grassroots. We got to go back to the strategy that got the labor movement where it is. And even in our own union, right now we have frozen our PAC contributions. We haven't given out a single dollar because we're trying to send a message that it's time to redirect those funds back to the ground, because you know we've invested a lot and we've got little in return. So we can't continue to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. We have to do this for ourselves as working class people, as people who care about other working folks. We got to get engaged in these movements to raise the minimum wage. It's our issue. Even though some of us may make above the minimum wage, it is so important that we look back and also agree that our brothers and sisters deserve much more than they deserve benefits. They deserve to have a life after retirement. So those are the things that we in the labor movement must focus on. So we are saying, and I am labor, I'm a part of labor, and so we're challenging our own international. We're challenging the National AFL-CIO to do things because I'll say this and then I'll stop. We participated in a forum at Georgetown University just about 2 months ago. This very same topic. It had to do with organizing the South, and particularly organizing around people of color, and how that plays into the organizing campaign. Where are we experiencing the most success in the organizing drive? It happens to be in an area where there's a huge majority of minorities, people of color, and women. That's where we're experiencing the most success. And so we talked about those issues and how that has to be factored into the strategy of the South. We saw what happened at Volkswagen. And I'm of the opinion that when we enter into a campaign as large as Volkswagen, we cannot afford to lose. Because it was not a loss for the UAW, it was a loss for all of us. And so we all must play a role in trying to make sure that we ensure whatever success we can to start rebuilding the movement. Because so goes the movement in the South, so goes labor in this country.